Hello, welcome to another episode of Black Ice 73. I am Black Ice 73. Today I'm gonna talk about good old Jason Whitlock. I know some of y'all like, who is Jason Whitlock? I never heard of him. Well, Whitlock, he's a sports reporter. Well, at least he was a sports reporter. The first time I heard of Jason Whitlock, it was on ESPN. He'd come in, do his little thing, and keep it Disney. Cause on Disney you really can't get outright unless you're Stephen A. Smith. He the only one back can bug out. Him and Dan Levitoire, they might be the only people can bug out on ESPN. But Jason Whitlock, he wanted the spotlight, so he wanted to get more TV time. So Jason Whitlock started turning into one of them, the black athlete, especially one of the popular black athlete. As this story I'm about to tell you, mostly Lebron James, who he opposed, because LeBron James is one of the most polarized athletes in the world. But then Jason Whitlock, back to Jason Whitlock, he went on to Fox Sports. He did his little thing over there, and he returned more conservative. He criticized the top black athlete even worse when he went to Fox. For some reason, Fox let him go too. So now, Jason Whitlock is the troll of the sports world. Jason Whitlock called LeBron James a bigot because he spoke about what happened to that young man that got shot in the back 7 times in Wisconsin. Jason Whitlock said LeBron is promoting racism, and he called LeBron a racist. I know y'all might not remember when I talked about Steve Bannon, how Steve Bannon fall from grace, went from 100 to 0 real quick. Jason Whitlock is that person in the sports world. He was at the highest high, and then he went down. You want to catch Jason Whitlock now, you got to go to his website to see what he's talking about. Because you won't see him on TV. You won't see him on Fox Sports. You won't see him on ESPN. I know CBS Sports haven't picked them up, or NBC Sports haven't picked them up. So Jason Whitlock said, I'm a reporter. They don't have to hire me. I go to my own website. Hold on a minute. Damn, you do this shit, man. CJ, you do it every time I start doing a video. Stop. Don't be running around in here. I'm sorry about that. You're not agitating the dog. Call the cutter. No. But Jason Whitlock, so he's a reporter. So, he went to school. I think he said he went to Northwestern, one of the top colleges in the Midwest. And, he do what reporters do when they don't have no story. They create a story. When President Trump first took office, and he used to say, fake news this and fake news that. And we used to like, come on. Then you actually start paying attention. You're like, these jokers are fake news for real. They start creating stories to get the more plays. So Jason Whitlock added, calling LeBron James, saying he a bigot, and said he promote racism all because he spoke up and said how he felt as a black man in America. That he'd be afraid sometimes because he don't know if the police don't have a good day or had a good night at home, and he come to work and take it out on the people. He just spoke passionately after the game, just speaking his word. The reporter asked him about it, so he spoke. So Jason Whitlock said, how can I get my name into the darn news? It didn't get too much coverage. It ain't too many. I don't look at ESPN most of the morning. It's afternoon now here in the on the East Coast. I don't look at ESPN and nobody mentioned it. I just ran across it because I was looking at another article and I scrolled down. I said, "Look at Jason Whitlock. Yeah, trying to get some done. Trying to get some buzz." But to me, he turned into a troll, and that's why I said his his sports downfall. His reporter that took a tumble because somebody with the accolade that he have or had, you wouldn't think he'd be resorting to his website talk about LeBron James as a bigot, all because he's not afraid to speak his mind like the rest of the earlier superstars in the NBA. They were afraid to speak their mind because they didn't want to lose their sponsors or they didn't want to outrate the other races because you took up for your own race. You know, you had the Charles Barkley who's like, I'm not a role model. You had the mailman that used to play for Utah, Karl Malone. He like, you know, kept him out. All of them, they kept him out close because they thought gonna get pissed off and gonna lose some sponsors. But these new cats, these 2000 cats, the guys that came in the league in 2000 and up, they are not afraid to support their political people, or they're not afraid to speak how they feel about what they see on in the media about on people being killed. I know you see a lot of about the black people but now it's not even people is not even talking about just the black people. They talking about the American people now. Because videos coming out showing that other races of people who getting killed by the police or in the police custody and end up dying later on because of that same move they said that don't happen all the time, that happened on George Floyd. The videos start circulating showing that this happened more often than it happened more often than we thought about how the police put their knees on people's neck and you have like in Columbus, Georgia, they just opened up. There was a incident that happened in 2017. I think the guy he was like Puerto Rican, I think, and so they say he was on meth and he was making a scene outside. So there was two policemen came. And one policeman was 300 pounds and saw on that man's chest. At first, they ruled a heart attack for methamphetamine. Just this month, they said his death was a murder. Called by the police now and having them to cause a heart attack for a methamphetamine, and that they had a video, the police cam, showing the man telling the police officer, I can't breathe. You got a 300-pound man sitting on this dude who looked like he was like in his 180 something. And he telling him he can't breathe. And the police hitting the body cam. The police said, yes, you can, man. Go on. A few minutes later, they reached down saying, oh, he none is sponsored. The police, I'm telling you, I wish I can see the body cam. I don't have to. But the police said he made the diagnosis. Oh, he died. He died from methamphetamine. He died from methamphetamine. The police made the diagnosis. And it took 3 years of the family fighting for them to go ahead and say it was a homicide. But the crazy part, neither police have been arrested or nothing. Nothing. You have stories like this all over the country. Black, white, Asian, Latinos, Africanos. You have stories like this all over the country of incidents happen to people from the police. Like, I think it was last year before last, when there was the big deal, that dude from Somalia. He was a Somalian immigrant who, came over here, then he got his citizen, then he was a police officer. And he killed that white lady in the park. They couldn't find no reason why he shot her, but he shot her. So this is not an isolated incident just in the black community. But the only reason people is reading about this and seeing about it because the black community have brought this to the darn nation spotlight or international spotlight. I know people like all lives matter. We know all lives matter, people. Every person in the same mind know all lives matter. But I'm gonna read some of this mess that Jason Whitlock said going toward LeBron James. I'm not a LeBron James fan, of his team, because I'm a Atlanta Hawk fan. I know I'd say that jump with pride, even though my team suck. But I'm a Atlanta Hawk fan. But I respect the man, his business move, So they said Jason Whitlock accused LeBron James of bigotry after the basketball star expressed outrage over the shooting of Jacob Blake in Wisconsin. He quote, "I know people get tired of," LeBron James quote, "I know people get tired of hearing me say it, but we are scared as black people in America," end quote. James said after the Monday night games against the Portland Trail Blazers. He quote, "Black men, black women, black kids, we are terrified." Hey, yesterday, I ain't gonna tell no story. My daughter don't like getting on camera, but we were riding down the interstate and I turned off the off ramp. And the police got behind me. I said, "All right, y'all be prepared. We're about to be pulled over." I ain't did anything, but I like be prepared. You might get pulled over today. But at the light time, he went run on past me. It's a shame that you had to think like that, but even though you haven't did anything, but sometimes you just gotta think that way. It's like, well, I'm about to get pulled over. But let's say Whitlock refute James' remark in an article titled "Whitlock, LeBron James is a bigot." He quote, Whitlock quote, "I'm black. I'm not scared. I'm not terrified. Neither is LeBron James. He is lying," end quote. Though Whitlock wrote Tuesday on his website, Outkick. See what I'm saying? This man was on national TV 5 days a week. And then the only way he can put his word out, he got to do the website called Outkick. They said he and the political activists controlling him want black people to think themselves in fear. He said fear is a tool used to control people. If you comply with the police discretion, there is virtually no chance of any American citizen being harmed by the police. Blake, a black man, was shot multiple times after he reached into his SUV during his arrest in Wisconsin over the weekend. So Blake is currently in stable condition in the hospital. He in critical care and it is reported he paralyzed from the waist down. They said the incident has sparked widespread protests in the city. Some which have, turned into arsoning, looting, and other rioting. They said Black Lives Matter activists and supporters of the racial justice argued in Blake case that officers used unnecessary force as they attempt to restrain him. They said, if you're sitting here and you're telling me that there was no way to subdue that gentleman or detain him or just before firing guns. Then you're sitting here lying not only to me, but you're lying to every African American, every black person in the community. Quote. That was James' quote. But Whitlock, he's a frequent critic of Black Lives Matter movement and athletes who support it, pointing to a second video and reported that police initially tried using a taser on Blake. But LeBron James had more than 40 million followers on Twitter. He have a moral responsibility to be informed and measured before commenting on a controversy that could inspire civil unrest. He said, Whitlock said, what's the harm in waiting 48 hours, 72 hours, or even a week? He said, LeBron James foolishly think he overseeing the police. He said, overseeing the black KKK. Come on, people. Jason Whitlock. Come on, people. Come on, Jason Whitlock. Turned into a troll dog. He said he overseeing the black KKK. You tell me it's a black KKK and nobody ain't invited me to join? You tell me nobody in my family or my ancestors have ever spoke of the black KKK? Jason Whitlock. You're a troll, man. His promotion of racism, he demonized a group of white people based on the behavior of a few. The thing is, LeBron didn't even demonize on white people. Only thing LeBron said, if you looked at TV or anything, only thing the man said, they could have did better. They ain't had to shoot that man 7 times in front of his 3 children. In the back 7 times too. You had 3 officers around this man. Basically, that's what LeBron saying. LeBron said you had 3 officers around this man who wasn't that large in frame, and the 3 officers couldn't stop this man from going to his car. And the man, according to witness, they said the man just pulled over and broke up 2 women for fighting. How did he go from breaking up 2 women for fighting to now the police trying to arrest him? Don't make no sense. But Jason Whitlock said, he said, as a black man, that sort of racist tactic should be terrifying. That racist tactics was used to not deny us freedom in this country. There's no one who professional to care about the welfare of black people will adopt to the tactic of white bigots. He said, bigots, regardless of the color, has a common trait. Ignorance, fuel, their ego, the information is their enemy. They avoid it at all costs. Negative frame their worldview. It's a shame that this man, Jason Whitlock, had to stoop to trolling and talking about LeBron James, a bigot. There's a few thousands of white children will refute that claim that LeBron James is a bigot. The ones who've been going to his camps, the ones that he been donating to for disabled children and stuff. They was like saying, no, LeBron ain't a bigot. The ones that in Akron, Ohio was like, nah, LeBron ain't no bigot. Jason Whitlock, you should be ashamed of yourself, man. You should be ashamed. You talking about LeBron couldn't wait 48 hours. Shit, you didn't even wait 12 hours to release that say that crap you said on your website about LeBron. It's a shame, man. Hey, thank you for watching the video. I'm gonna come back in a little bit, talk about something else. I'll talk to you in a minute. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification, hit the share button, and hit the like button. Drink your water, people. Talk to you in a bit.